A high-profile shooting is about to get major attention. Another police officer charged in the death of a man on a Norfolk street. As the case gets ready to go to trial, some concerns are being raised about how things should be handled. Those concerns being raised about how the jury in the trial for Officer Michael Eddington Jr. will be picked. Cases like this, as we've seen across the nation, can be very difficult. Eddington's accused of shooting and killing David Latham in Norfolk back in June of 2014. Investigators say Latham, who family members say was mentally ill, had a knife and refused to drop it, despite repeated demands to do so by officers. Eddington fired his gun, hitting Latham several times. 10 Your Side's Aaron Kelly has a look at the details hashed out in court today. Aaron?
Well, most of today's proceedings happened behind closed doors in the judge's chambers. According to recently unsealed documents, the defense has called to exclude the testimony of another officer about statements the defendant allegedly made about a month after the shooting, saying that that would be hearsay. Mr. Eddington, what can you tell us about the charges against you? Anything you'd like to say? Excuse me, Mr. Eddington? Norfolk police officer Michael Eddington Jr. was in court Tuesday for a hearing ahead of a trial for voluntary manslaughter. He's accused in the 2014 shooting death of 35-year-old David Latham, who officers say refused to put down a knife at a home in the Park Place neighborhood. Family members say Latham suffered from mental illness. According to a medical report, he was shot at least 8 times. Is there anything you'd like to say about the judge's decision today? In court Tuesday, a judge ruled against the defense's request to have potential jurors in the upcoming trial fill out a questionnaire. Eddington Jr.'s attorney said one was needed to help determine bias at a time when passions have run high in the country. Prosecutors argued the most appropriate way to question potential jurors is in court, watching their responses and body language. And the defense did get approval to discuss some matters behind closed doors, as I mentioned. They argued that in the recent murder trial of a former Portsmouth police officer, even though there were some issues that were not to be allowed as part of the trial, they were still argued in open court, and then the media was able to report on that. So, again, that led to his request to have some of these issues discussed behind closed doors. Live in Norfolk, Aaron Kelly, 10 on your side. All
right, Aaron, thank you. And Latham's parents filed a $9 million wrongful death suit against Officer Eddington. The suit claims that Latham was killed by excessive and unreasonable use of deadly force.